Hargreaves, chance for Torquay! Chris Hargreaves, the captain! If he stays onside, Carlisle checks instead. He's looking for Benyon. Sells!
Hello and welcome to the latest Gull'S Live View, brought to you by Galaxy TQ. I'm joined by Chris.
Evening all, how are we doing?
Good, I'm joined by Tom.
Evening, guys. Nice to see you. No Dom tonight.
No
We
Dom
can get
tonight.
away with anything.
Yes, we can do say anything. Pre-season. It's been a good one as pre-seasons go. Plenty of promise. What do we think? Tom, what was your thoughts, Ben?
Yeah, but I mean, I've only seen the Plymouth one live, but I thought we played really, really well. And I think it's testament that the Plymouth manager gave quite a good review of ourselves at full time. And I think it's just good to have that kind of link up with Plymouth Argyle again. It looks as though Yeovil, potentially promotion rivals, are going how we did it back in 2018 with the Bristol City link. And I think it's important for us, especially now that they're in the Championship, to kind of get that sort of link back. And this new lad that we've got in on loan, what's his name, Will Jenkins Davies.
I was looking at him for Plymouth, thinking he's a good player. I was he was young. And then I was like, oh, signed him. So I know.
A lot of talk saying that he could potentially be the next Adam Randall. Only time will tell. Be interested to see if he plays. Yeah, quite big shoes to fill. But it'd be interesting to see how many games he plays, I suppose. Because would you have him in your starting 11? Probably on the bench, maybe not straight away. But we've got him for the season, so we'll see. But yeah, the Plymouth game was really good. We more than held our own. For all intents and purposes, we deserve to be ahead in that game, only to be, stung by a wonderful volley. I mean, Whittaker with a fantastic effort.
Unbelievable.
Completely unmarked, mind you, but it's pre-season, I suppose. They all say results don't matter in pre-season, but then you look at the Exeter game and it's like, we were really up for that, and we really ruffled their feathers, didn't we? I mean, I don't know.
Results don't matter in pre-season unless you work with other Exeter fans, and then it really does matter, I can tell you. Then it's the most important thing there is. No, I was like you, Tom. I was at the Plymouth game. I couldn't make it at the weekend, but my dad was there, and he said, "Yeah, exactly." As we've kind of discussed during the week, really, just it was very similar to the Plymouth game. And we were up and at them early, and we got in their faces, and just the pressure and intensity. It wasn't even like the sending off made a massive difference in it, because we were already 2-0 in front at that point. But I think it's just the pace and the way that we've attacked high. I think it's probably helped us that there are two sides that play out from the back. And I think that helps us. We can push high, we can squeeze them, we can try and close that space down so they're not able to play. Though you won't see massive amounts of that, I guess. Maybe you will nowadays, I don't know, in our league this year. And a lot of it is about winning the physical aerial battle at times and then getting the ball down and playing it yourselves. But rather having to kind of squeeze out, one of the goals at the weekend and the chance that McGavin had against Plymouth was from nicking the ball in those tight areas in their opposition half. But yeah, absolutely a good week to be a Torquay fan working in Exeter for a change, because I've been able to just let pretty much everyone have it rather than have the Mickey taken out of us being and us.
It's just a shame. It's just a shame it has to be pre-season and not a proper league game. Back in the good old days. I took two things away pretty much from the friendly results against Exeter and Plymouth. Is one, how much fitter we looked. In pre-season compared to say the first 10 games of the actual season last season, where we just looked shattered after an hour. And two, we were just so much more. It was more like we're such a unit now. Of course, we've got the majority of our players have stayed over the summer, and you've got the likes of Bradley Ashes coming, I think he's wicked. Like he's just like Tom Lapsley in midfield, isn't he? He's just everywhere. He chases everything down. He's not afraid to get stuck in, and he's scoring
the ideal
goals.
Partner for Jarvis, isn't he? I think I was going to say, I don't take anything away from pre-season results wise, but it's just the fact that, as you say, we look so, I think the word professional. So it's just the movements and the triangles and all that kind of stuff of play is what I take the most from it. I only watched the Plymouth one. I've watched the highlights of Exeter twice. And
only twice.
And it's just the fact that it's just we've got different ways of the passing's great, but also a bit of directness at the same time. We look like a team that's well drilled, and that's what I found mental through. Apart from the last 7 or 8 games of last season, we did never look like a drill team. I know we didn't have the talent, which obviously manager thought as well, but it was just there was no kind of real style last season. But this season, there's a style, And the thing is, I mean, again, I'm a bit ahead of myself because I'm not counting off any other team in National League South. But if you look at talking the overall squads, they would probably hold their own in the National League, as in the sense you wouldn't rule them out of going top half playoffs even. If talking is a couple more signings, I don't know about Yeovils as much in terms of depth, but like, and this is a thing, and I mean that means nothing in the season. We've got respect the league, and a team like Chelmsford and Bath and that could easily get involved, but in other ones. But like, it's just the fact that we've signed such a better team this season than last season, but we've also kept the momentum from last season, like that sort of winning form. And I think Ash, he's a great asset in that strike, even possibly better than me. I love Nuble. I thought he was a really good player, but he wasn't 100% fit at that time when we had him. And Ash, he's fancy.
You can see he's hungry for it.
Yeah, exactly. He's fancy at times, but he works so hard. And he's 27 now. He's in his prime, sort of getting those sort of years, and he can look after himself. You don't look at him and think, oh Christ, I'm thinking of him out of strike. You think, yeah, you look all right, but one bar and centre back and it's over. I thought he was absolutely brilliant. So I am really encouraged.
It is interesting. I was musing on that because I think the first thing that struck me as well, Tom, in the Plymouth game was just how sharp we looked and how fit we looked. So I was musing on, are better players fitter? And I don't think that's necessarily true, because you would have thought if you're a professional sports person, the number one thing you would need is fitness. The only thing I can put it down to is that an awful lot of what you do in pre-season is about fitness. But when you have a group of new players, which at our level we seem to have every year, an awful lot, you're not only focusing on that, but you're focusing on the patterns of play and getting the structure to the team and people understanding their roles in a way that, as Gary admitted himself, you think there's only one brand new player up until this last week who's been kind of all through the pre-season phase in Brad Ash. So I do wonder if they've had longer to focus on just the fitness, because people understand what's expected of them that bit more ready. In terms of Ash, I absolutely agree. Ash I was so impressed with him, just on a number of levels, because he's not the biggest guy in the world, he's not physically big, but I thought he was quite physically strong in certain situations. What I liked about him, just like Jarvis can in some respects, but he looks like the sort of the multi-dimensional forward, if you like. He can come short, you can play into his feet, and he had a decent touch and could bring either Stobbs inside or one of the central midfield players into the game. But it'll have a bit of strength and not just get pushed off the ball. You can go long, you can go over the top to him, and he can get around the side and over the top of the centre backs to get in behind, as long as it's timed properly, and he can finish. Because he's shown us that 3 goals in 3 games in the Bristol City Academy game, the Plymouth game, and the Exeter game, and they're all that, particularly the Exeter game. It's a lovely, intelligent little ball from Jarvis, because he played it right into his stride for him to hit it. But it's not a goal, is it? It's a shot from the edge of the box. He's got to kind of whip it round a couple of people. Might flick McGavin maybe, but Tom's clearly not.
No.
But he's definitely flitting. But he's curled into the corner and he can finish as well. So I mean, as long as he stays fit, as I've said on here before, I wasn't convinced that signing Nuble was a good option overall, just because of fitness and kind of 46 games and all of that. But as long as Ash can stay injury free, he looks like a really good addition. And as Sam said, a really good fit with Jarvis. And if you're going to have Collins and Stobbs either side, those midfield players getting forward as well, then there'll be. My first thought after 20 minutes against Plymouth was, God, we'll destroy some National League South sides if we can play like this.
Yeah, and I think having Stobbs and Collins as well out there on the wide channels, my goodness me, there's goals all over this team now, and that's something you wouldn't have had for the majority of last season. I mean, again, Brad Ash, he scores goals in the National League South. He scored 18 league goals in a rather poor Weymouth side. Imagine if you give him put some good players either side of him and a good partnership up front for a team that should be fighting for promotion. I think he's going to be a right gem. I know I said in my predictions in the last video that I think Jarvis will score more than Ash. I'll tell you what, I think they'll both.
Yeah. Now I've seen
each
him.
other.
No,
absolutely.
I think as well, Tom, and I think you thought this as well. One of the I guess surprises that caught my eye in that Plymouth game was Ollie Tomlinson, because obviously he had a very kind of
absolutely.
I was
checkered
first
first year with it.
In terms
of playing.
So good. How he reads that game.
What I liked about him was he seemed to be like a multi-dimensional player, because they were good opponents. This wasn't Plymouth kids. This is Ryan Hardy and Whitaker and people who've scored goals at a good level, played at a good level. And, I thought, as you said, Sam, he read the game very well. He recognised danger, which for youngsters is not. I was so impressive about Lauren. Nico Lawrence was in last year, wasn't it? To be able to recognise danger and get in and stamp it out before it's a problem. But he won his aerial duels. He covered well. So whether a year of kind of, adjusting to the club and spending a bit of time on loan might help. But the way it's looking,
build it around him at the back.
Next week, Dover, isn't he?
And what a signing. Oh my God, Finley Crass. Because I was so oh my God, I couldn't believe we got him. Like, I watched him, he played left centre back, which is not his strong foot. Didn't look out of place at all. Plays right centre back. He's so confident on the ball. My favourite part of him was in the central midfield, actually. I thought he's absolutely brilliant there.
He's a very versatile player.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was his ball for the goal. It passed him by at the time, but against Plymouth, it was him that picked it up, won the tackle, fizzed it out to the right wing, and then crossed that, passed me by at the time. But he just looks. The fact he wasn't left-footed kind of didn't matter somehow.
No, it's all in there. It's all in there. Now, obviously, I want one slight negative, and I don't want to feel I'm picking on him already. But obviously, Ross Marshall, I presumed, and maybe other fans presumed, he was on his way out, but maybe he must have had an injury. And I think the thing about reading the game, he's come on for 5 minutes and he's given away a penalty. Like,
it's never a penalty in a million years, mind you.
I don't see it, but I do feel a bit like, that's not a good start for him, is it?
No. What was interesting as well was I've never seen someone's shirt totally taken off. Either it wasn't ripped either; it literally gone all the way over the top of his head. That was an incredible effort. But
and they're still wondering why it was a penalty. They're still wondering why it was a penalty. Some of them.
I think as well with Marshall, it's like we also about Thompson in the game. If we could read the game half as well as Tomlinson, or even 3/4 as well, he'd be all right because he's getting the tackle and that. But
it's interesting as well when other people who don't watch your club every week. I mean, I work with an Exeter fan who doesn't miss a game home and away. Proper dedicated low league football fan. And we were chatting about the game on Monday, as you can imagine, and amongst all the jokes. I said,
you were talking about the game. You were talking about the game.
No, I was listening because I wasn't there, obviously, after the initial volley. But no, I said, what do you think about it? The one player that struck him as to how good they were was Collins.
Yeah.
And he said he was big, he's strong, he finished well, he was quick, he got back, he defended, he scrapped, he put some balls in. So that's interesting because I don't know. I'd have thought that necessarily. I thought you'd say, Jarvis big and strong, Ash, or good finish, one of the midfield players on the ball or whatever. But no, he said he was just struck him with just how good he was.
Lewis Collins is one hell of an asset for a football club now. Don't know if he's on a 1 or 2 year deal. I hope it's 2. I doubt it will be. But just
got to stay fit.
He's come from Newport, and I've got from Newport supporting friend. They're in a state like Crawley are the biggest state in football league right now, and Newport they've lost a lot of players. And you think, look at them, and like he could do a job for them with your squad right now. I mean, it's just he should be National League. He came in, he was a bit inconsistent at times. A few games I was a bit frustrated with him, but same with like Stobbs. He'd join a club who are bottom and whatever the league basically. Not played much football, and now they've had this pre-season behind them. It's like totally different players. Like, I'm a Torquay player, I'm here to stay. I love both of their attitudes so much. Honestly, they're really, really proud to play when they play for the football club, and that's
I think because go on, Tom.
I was going to say just about Gary Johnson. I think it was after the Plymouth friendly. I could be wrong, but he mentioned about the last season and how. They owe the fans, and they know that they owe the fans to do well this season. And I tell you what, that was a surprising comment from. I didn't really expect him to kind of acknowledge that it was his fault. So in terms of the management
forum, they definitely let him know.
And the fans forum, which was good that they didn't try.
By the way, well done for the club for not, as you say, scripting it and for actually taking it. So well done all.
And I think it's kind of brought everyone back together now. Like, okay. What's happened? What's done is done. Yeah. We are where we are. Let's get ourselves out of this league. First time of asking. Let's give it a good go. Let's have a bit of stability in the squad, and let's just go for it and get behind the team. But no, I was very pleased to hear Gary take accountability because last season there was a lot.
I think as well on these new players, you're saying about them buying in, Tom, as well. With Stobbs and Collins, I think it's interesting. And I get the world's changed since COVID, and I get that. But it's interesting to see, because it's not something we've ever done before, to see two players that have just signed doing interviews in the middle of the summer. So you had, Stobbs was in Thailand doing a bit of traveling and a bit of a holiday with his partner, and he's doing an interview from a hotel room via Zoom. I mean, that kind of stuff is because you could say, no, sod off, I'm on holiday, I'll do it when I come back.
Yeah.
Even this little stuff like that, isn't it?
Yeah,
Which just makes you think, oh, okay, yeah, they're proper bought into what they're doing and the culture in the club. And, you know, it's like, you know, again, like Colin said when he signed, it was a big deal for him. First thing, time away from home. And rather than almost still play lower level football nearer home, he said, actually, you know what? I like the club, I like the culture, I like the atmosphere. I'll come back.
Yeah.
So just little things like that make you think, okay. And as we said at the time, people like it or not, lump it, whatever. But people play for Johnson. They've come back for him.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you're
right.
Really.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
100%.
100%. What else was I going to say? Can't remember now.
Anyway,
He'll come back. He'll come back. Yeah.
We'll split into the second part of this where we've got a few Twitter questions. And I think we're answering your questions this way, aren't we? Is that what we've done?
Yeah, tables have been turned. Yeah,
tables have been turned. Good. Right, so we're seeing the second part. Thank you very much for watching this part, and we'll see you in a bit.
Here's Hargreaves, chance for Torquay. Chris Hargreaves, the captain. If he stays onside, Carlisle checks instead. He's looking for Benyon. Sells.